try to see them and get to them in order to provide some sort of clarity and answer. So I think first thing first, we've had a lot of people ask us why. So for the last 5 years, Taylor and I have built Love Local Real Estate. We've had a lot of success. We currently have about 130 agents at our brokerage. And to be honest, if you would have told me a couple months ago we'd be making this transition, I'd tell you that you were crazy. I think for us, a big why came in through the years, seeing as a team leader and as a brokerage owner, seeing agents come and go at a pretty rapid pace. If you look at Las Vegas and if you look at all of the real estate brokerages around us, we all pretty much pass around the same group of agents. And so there's, 50 indie brokerages that pass around the same 2,000 or 3,000 agents every year. About in Vegas, the average is 30% of agents move from company to company on an annual basis. And so we've seen our turnover some years be a little bit less than that, maybe 27%, some years be a little bit more, creep up to 33, 34%. We send birthday cards, flowers, like we celebrate their successes, we throw company parties, and no matter what we do, agents are always attracted to the next shiny thing. And so when Real Broker was approached or kind of brought to us, the concept I really, really liked. We had been approached by other revenue sharing companies that offered stock ownership to their agents. And my whole feeling was I would never want to do an MLM. That was kind of my whole thing. And so what we saw with Real Broker was the opportunity to kind of rewrite on our own rules the laws of attraction as opposed to the necessity of recruitment. And so by that I mean Real Broker at its core is an attraction tool and a retention tool, not a recruitment tool. And so you will not see myself or any of our agents, as well as I can control it, becoming hardcore recruiters and spammy to other agents in Vegas or other marketplaces. For us, it's all about the conversations we've had so far, which we've had some really high-level conversations with some awesome agents across the country, have been Taylor and I or some of our agents as producers approaching other producers with a really cool opportunity. So it's not about us going out and recruiting and getting peer numbers and get to level 7 and all that fun stuff. For us, it's about who do we know that we've always wanted to partner with, but we didn't really have a platform to do it. Be they in Salt Lake City or Portland, Oregon, or Austin, Texas, or wherever it is, like we have great friends that are in the real estate industry that we'd love to partner with, but with Love Local Real Estate, we had licensure and state restrictions that if we wanted to go up into Utah, we'd have to get brick and mortar and open a real estate brokerage with licensure and all that stuff, where Real Broker allows us to cross state lines and partner with, do marketing, advertising, kind of create expansion teams, and or just mentor other agents that we really respect. And so that was one of the things we loved about the Real Broker platform, is it allowed us to do that. So the why is retention. I think as agents come into our world, be it our team or Real Broker at large, and they begin closing business, they get stock ownership in the company, and as they begin attracting talent, they get revenue share as those agents produce. And so then it's much less likely for them to pass around the 50 companies here in Vegas because they'll have ownership in their actual situation. So I think that that's huge. So retention is one way, and then attraction. I think for agents who've done a lot of business through the years, I think Taylor and I have probably been a part of 5,000 transactions in our career, and we haven't seen, there's no residuality from it. The hope would be that those 5,000 people would come back and use us again the next time, and we've seen some of that. But if I step away from the business, or if I go on a long vacation, or if, heaven forbid, something were to happen to me that where I couldn't work, I'm only as good as my last deal. That's problem number one. Problem number two is when the time comes that I want to retire, how on earth can I do that? Like, with owning a brokerage, there's some value there. We could technically sell the brokerage, but if I'm the average agent doing 10 to 20 units a year over the course of 10 or 20 years, how could I ever build any retirement that would allow me to walk away and not have to be showing houses when I'm 80 years old. So Real Broker, from a long-term wealth building principle, allows agents not to come in and become recruiters, because somebody has to actually sell houses. That's been my problem with the other revenue sharing companies out there. But to come in, and as they do their production, they get stock, and as they attract like-minded individuals, they get revenue share, so that when they're 65, 70, 80 years old, they can actually step away from the active practice of selling real estate and have some residual income and have built up wealth through stock. So that's kind of the why. The next question I get is like, how does it work? So there's 3 situations at Real Broker, 2 of which are publicized, and 1 of which is kind of a special case deal based on production. So first things first, Real Broker has a 85-15 split until somebody caps. The cap is either $12,000 for an individual or $6,000 for team members of that individual. So if an agent comes in and is a 12K capper on 100%, like kind of doing their own thing, they would be at 85-15 on probably their first 6 or 8 deals based on the value of, an average $10,000 commission. So it would take them about 8 deals to cap. After they're done with those 8 deals, then the transaction fee is just $225 a transaction. So pretty simple, 85-15 split. You pay the cap at 12K, and then after that is $225 a transaction. There is a $500 annual fee that the brokerage collects off of your first 2 transactions. So if I'm paying, and I've worked the math to say, if I'm a 30 unit a year producer at 100% company, I will pay about $15,000 a year in transaction fees, and I'll pay about $1,200 a year to belong to the company. So my total cost to do 30 transactions at that office would be about $16,200, and my total return for that production would be nothing. We have relationships with a bunch of agents that do a bunch of deals here in Vegas, and we're really nice guys, and we try to send flowers on birthdays and things like that. But when somebody does 30 transactions with our company, they might get an award, they may be recognized, but there's no residual value of those 30 transactions. They trade commission package for a commission check. We take a transaction fee. They pay $100 a month, and then at the end of the year, we give them a pat on the back, and we keep going. The cool thing is with Real Broker, if somebody did 30 transactions, they, let's say it takes them 4 or 5 deals to cap, so they pay their 12K. They get 1,000 shares of stock when they hit that 12K cap. Once they cap, if they pay $6,000 the rest of the year in transaction fees at $225, they do 25 to 26 deals, they would have paid $18,000 into the company. So $16,200 at Love Local or other companies, other 100% companies. At Real Broker, they would have paid $18,000. So they're a little bit higher there. They've gotten 1,000 shares of stock, but at that point they become elite status, and so the amount they paid into the company with a bonus, they get back in the form of stock. So where we give pats on the back and sometimes plaques, Real Broker actually gives you stock for your production in the amount or greater of which you've paid in once you hit certain production levels. So now that 30 unit a year producer, instead of paying in 16.2, they may pay 18, but they may get 24,000 back in stock at Real Broker, where at 100% companies like Love Local, they would get some recognition, and then it would be on to the next year. If you're on a team, your cap is only 6K, but obviously your team leader will have a split there. The difference is the award for reaching your cap at 6K is 500 shares of stock, which is half of the 1,000 shares, if that makes sense. All right, so what do we offer uniquely in our office for the Vegas market specifically? So we get the ability to generate leads and do transaction management for the agents that join. So anyone coming here to Real Broker Nevada that works with Taylor and I, we provide leads and we provide transaction management for them. So the cool thing is they can take our leads and use our transaction management team in order to reach their cap and get their stock, which is awesome. Anyone on our team, their cap is actually $4,000 instead of $6,000 because Taylor and I are a Platinum Elite team because of the production we do. So that's another benefit. when they reach their 4K cap, the stock award is about 333 shares. So they take our leads, they have the transactions managed by our team, and when they reach that cap, they get 333 shares of stock, which is awesome. One of the things we feel like is a little bit unique about our offering specifically is that the agents that join our team or work in our world have physical space. So one thing I didn't love about a lot of the rev share companies is they are purely cloud-based. And so a lot of agents at other companies are working out of WeWorks or some shared office space at like executive suites. Taylor and I will always be brick and mortar. So for agents in Las Vegas, they can always come here to our brick and mortar office. And if they have broker questions, they can always knock on my door and I'm right here. So I think part of the complaints we've heard from other revenue share based companies is the lack of broker support and the lack of physical space to use. So those are things that we're offering into the marketplace that are a little bit unique from a rev share situation. The last thing that I kind of pointed out that I get a lot of questions on is expansion. Like, how does that work? Well, if you're a 100% agent who has their own lead generation tools, who is able to provide enough business for themselves, they don't need leads, they don't need transaction management, and you're in another marketplace, then it becomes a mentorship agreement. Like where we just become your mentors. We'd love to work with you. We'd love to help you build what we built. We'd love to help you produce. If you are an agent in another marketplace who can see the value of having somebody generate for you a lot of leads and provide for you a lot of transaction management, if you're doing 40 deals a year, we think we can get you up to 150 or 200 between you and attracting some team members. And so I'm very attracted to moving into Salt Lake or Portland, Oregon, or Carlsbad, California, or Austin, Texas, or Jupiter, Florida, or wherever it is, and building out the same marketing system we have here in Vegas in other marketplaces. So expansion is something that I've been really interested in. So some of the questions we get is the headache. Changing companies is always a headache. So yes, we are rebranding our office, so that takes a little bit of time and effort on our part. Yes, we are ordering new business cards. Yes, we're having to rebrand our signs. So there's a few of those things that are a little bit of a headache, but for us, I think we see the opportunity is well worth the cost. Love Local Real Estate, what happens? Well, for the foreseeable future, Love Local Real Estate will continue to operate as is. So in a sense, Taylor and I will own Love Local Real Estate, but we will be practicing under the Real Broker umbrella. So there's a few agents that are going to be staying on at Love Local. We're super excited to continue to work with them in that capacity. If they at some point see the value in coming with us over to Real Broker, great. If they stay there at Love Local and continue to do great business, that's great as well. So anyways, those are some of the questions I've gotten. Just wanted to hop on really quick and answer as many as I could in a setting like this. If you have any questions about this, if you're thinking maybe it makes sense or would it make sense, I'd love to talk to you. My cell phone number is 702-328-7653. Just shoot me a text and say, hey Joe, when can we chat? Other than that, hope you have a great day and hope you are excited about what we are building, because as you can tell, we're actually really excited about it as well. Have a great day.